Well, I'm playing Jane Roberts, who plays Janet van der Graaff in the show. So because it's a show within a show. And Janet van der Graaff is the diva of the show. She's like a showgirl star, and she's actually giving up her stardom to marry Robert, who she just kind of recently met. They don't really know each other, but it's a musical, so everything's kind of over the top. But yeah, so she's kind of the singing, dancing diva of the show. Well, it's not a happy memory, but it's a memory. On the second show, in the song Show Off, I do the splits, and I dropped into the splits too quickly and actually pulled my hamstring. So I didn't really clue in because adrenaline was kicking in, and I just kind of was like, oh, that felt weird. But I kept doing the number and kicking all over the place, and I came off stage and I was just like, oh my God, that hurts. And so I ended up having to change a bit of the choreography for the show to make up for the fact that I couldn't really do much anymore. But yeah, it just goes to show that in theater, there's always things going wrong, and there's always things you have to change and make up for that the audience has no idea of, but everyone on stage does. And yeah, it's just another memory from this production. It's really nice. It's such a community, I find. I've performed in a lot of community theater productions and a few professional productions, but I like the feeling here because everyone is there to help each other out. And because it is like a smaller space and a smaller a group, everyone knows each other, and it's very much a family atmosphere. So it's been great to get to know everyone and be so welcomed into the Langham Court family, because it's my first show here. So yeah, it's been awesome. I have been performing since I think my first musical was when I was 6, but I started dancing when I was 2. I always kind of wanted to like move and stuff, and my Nana actually taught me a few tap steps in the garage, and so yeah, and I've just kind of always wanted to do it. So my mom put me in dance classes when I was younger, and then I just kind of started going from there. I danced mostly up until I was 6, and then someone came to our dance studio and they needed younger people to audition for a show they were doing called Judy Liza Judy, and it was like a musical about Judy Garland's life. And I ended up getting cast to play young Judy Garland, so that was awesome. And I had never taken singing lessons before or anything. I just auditioned and by fluke got the part. So yeah, and then the next year, I ended up entering into musical theater festival. So for dance, you singing and dancing festival, and started taking voice lessons, and yeah, it just kind of started going from there. And in high school, when high school started, I was really mostly just into dance, and then I remember seeing like the school musical, and I didn't audition that year because I was scared I wouldn't get in. And so I remember going and actually watching it, and it was really inspiring. One of the girls who was playing the lead girls in it, I just wanted to be like her. And I had always danced, and I had always sort of sang, but I had never really gotten into musical theater. I had done a few musicals, but not much. And so then I just really kind of got bit by the bug, and like really wanted to perform and do musicals. And it just went up from there, and did every community thing I could do, and summer camps and voice lessons, and I just kind of took everything I possibly could to get the skills to be a performer. So yeah. Right now, I work at a bakery, but I was at the Canadian College of Performing Arts last year. I did a year there, and then I actually lucked out and got cast in a show in Vancouver a couple months into my first year. So I ended up doing a show with Vancouver Opera. I did West Side Story, so I wasn't able to come back and do second year at CCPA. But I'm really lucky and really happy I made the choice to actually just go do the show, because I made so many great connections and stuff. So yeah, right now I'm just kind of working, trying to make money, and yeah, not much else other than just performing. I don't really know, just something inside of me, like, this is all I can really do, and this is all I want to do. Actually, I did a show this summer, I did chorus line, and one of the lines that my character Cassie said was, "There's nothing else I can do." And every time I said that line, it was just so relevant to me. I mean, this is all I can do, so it's kind of my drive. I'm really like, I've never been a sports girl or like a nerdy girl. I'm not really like into anything else other than performing, so it's kind of what keeps me going is the fact that I love it so much. I recently became a member of Equity, Actors Equity, so that's exciting because I can do a lot more professional stuff now, and I actually just got an agent, so that's exciting too. So I've just been auditioning, and I really want to move to Toronto. I was living in Vancouver for a little bit, and I loved it, but I really want to end up in Toronto eventually. It's just so much theater going on there, and then after that, my dream is New York. But I know it's quite hard to get there, so, but yeah, one day, that's where I really want to go and just keep performing. As long as I'm performing, I think that's all I really care about. It doesn't really matter where it is, but it would be nice to go somewhere big and make a career out of it, so. I don't know. My dream role was Cassie in a chorus line, and I did it this summer. It wasn't as big a scale as Broadway or anything, but it was still a really cool experience. So one day I'd love to go back and play that part when I'm older, and yeah, that's one of the things. And actually, it's funny because one of my other dream roles was Janet in Drowsy, Chaperone, because Sutton Foster, who plays Janet on Broadway, or played Janet on Broadway, is like my idol. Like I love her so much. And so any kind of role that she does, I really want to try and do. So I'm really fortunate to be able to play this part and get to, yeah, do what Sutton Foster does. So yeah. Well, I'm so happy I got the chance to work with him, because even though I went to the Canadian college, I didn't actually get to do school with him because they had changed over to the new directors. And so I had always really wanted to work with Jacques and Janice, who ran the Canadian college. And so this opportunity came up, and it was awesome to work with someone who's so well known and so professional. And also it was great because he is so professional, but he also had a really fun side, and because it is community theater, he pushed us hard enough that we got a really great product, but he didn't push us to the point where it was a little too much. Like some directors or some choreographers can do that. And so it was great. And he's such a wealth of knowledge. He knows so much about the craft, and so every rehearsal, just a little tidbits he say, I'd be like, okay, I gotta remember that. Like, yeah, and it's great because he's starting to choreograph more and direct more because he's not running the school, so he has more time. And so even just having like a foot in the door in the theater world is great, knowing one more director, one more choreographer who has such a great reputation in the theater world. And I'm just really lucky I got the chance to work with Jacques, yeah. Working with Roger has been awesome. This is actually my 7th show with Roger. I did when I was 11 with VOS. I did Oliver. I was a little boy. And it was actually really cool because Karen was in it, and Donna was the music director. And it's really funny to see how everyone's kind of come together again. But yeah, working with Roger has been awesome. Roger has taught me so much, because other than at CCPA, I had never really taken acting before. I had just kind of done it in shows. And so Roger has this way of making you feel comfortable trying something new, and he makes you not afraid to fail. Like, I think that was my thing, is I was afraid to fail, so I never took risks or anything, and Roger kind of helped me get over that. And because I've done so many shows with Roger, he knows all my bad habits, and it's kind of nice because he'll call me out on them. He says, "Alison, that was face number 54, try it again." Like, yeah, it's great. So I love working with Roger. He's a great a great person and also an amazing director. Yeah.